July 1969. Entered history as millions of people around the world looked toward a moment many once viewed as impossible. One quiet and highly skilled pilot, Neil Armstrong, stood at the center of a journey that would place his name into history forever. To many people, he appeared calm, careful, and deeply focused, far different from public figures who enjoyed attention. Alongside Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins, Neil prepared for Apollo 11, a mission carrying huge pressure and worldwide attention. Many people knew the famous moment that later made him unforgettable, though far fewer knew the long path, danger, hard work, and personal struggle that shaped the man who would one day walk upon the moon. Neil Armstrong entered the world on August 5, 1930, in Wapakoneta, Ohio, carrying a deep curiosity about aircraft from an early age. While many children enjoyed ordinary hobbies, Neil carried a strong interest in flying and often looked toward the sky with fascination. By the age of 16, he had already earned a pilot license even before gaining a driving permit, showing rare dedication toward aviation. People who knew him often noticed how calm and quiet he appeared, rarely seeking attention or praise. Long before worldwide fame reached him, Neil had already built a path shaped by patience, discipline, and deep focus toward one major dream linked to flight. After high school, Neil Armstrong entered Purdue University to study aeronautical engineering, though life soon carried him into a far more dangerous path. Before completing his education, he joined the United States Navy and later took part in the Korean War as a pilot. Flying military aircraft placed him into frightening situations where calm thinking mattered greatly. On one mission, his aircraft faced major trouble after part of a wing suffered heavy harm, forcing Neil to escape through parachute after a dangerous moment high above the ground. Even through fear and pressure, people around him often noticed how calm he remained, a quality that later helped shape many important moments in his life. After military service, Neil Armstrong returned to complete his education and later entered a path linked to high-speed flight research. He joined NACA, the organization that later turned into NASA, where he worked as a test pilot, flying aircraft built to push human limits. Many of these flights carried major danger, requiring quick thinking and deep focus. Neil flew the X-15, one of the fastest research aircraft ever built, reaching heights far above normal air travel. Though many people around him admired his skill, Neil rarely looked for attention, carrying a calm and careful nature that quietly earned deep admiration among fellow pilots and mission planners. In 1962, Neil Armstrong entered a new chapter when he joined NASA's Astronaut program, becoming part of a group chosen for human travel far above Earth. The work carried huge pressure, long training periods, and many unknown risks. Neil quickly earned a reputation for calm thinking and careful decision-making, qualities that made him stand apart. Rather than looking for fame, he focused deeply on learning every detail linked to flight, landing systems, and emergency situations. Among many people inside NASA, Neil gained trust as someone who could remain calm even when danger arrived without warning. In 1966, Neil Armstrong faced one of the most frightening moments of his career while taking part in Gemini 8 alongside David Scott. The mission carried an important goal linked to joining two vehicles together while far above Earth, a task needed for future lunar travel. Everything looked normal until a hidden problem caused the vehicle to turn faster and faster, creating a life-threatening situation. With calm thinking and quick action, Neil Armstrong managed to regain control, preventing a far worse outcome. Though the mission ended earlier than planned, many people inside NASA came away with even greater trust in Neil's calm judgment under pressure. By 1969, Neil Armstrong received the role that would change his life forever. NASA chose him to command Apollo 11, alongside Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins, for a journey carrying worldwide attention. Millions of people watched closely while excitement grew across many countries. The mission carried huge pressure, because failure would bring heartbreak while success could place human history into a new chapter. With growing attention around him, Neil carried the same calm and quiet nature many people had known for years, placing focus only on the task ahead. As Apollo 11 neared the lunar surface, trouble soon entered the landing process. Warning alarms appeared, fuel levels turned dangerously low, and the planned landing area looked unsafe. Rather than continuing toward danger, Neil Armstrong carefully guided the lunar vehicle toward a better location, while mission teams waited nervously for good news. With only very limited fuel left, the vehicle finally touched the lunar ground. Relief quickly filled mission control, knowing one difficult part of the journey had finally come to an end. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong climbed down the ladder and entered history as the human who took humanity's opening step onto the moon. Millions of people watched or listened from homes around the world, while Neil calmly delivered words that later turned unforgettable. The moment carried huge meaning, showing what human effort and determination could achieve. A little later, Buzz Aldrin joined him while Michael Collins continued orbiting above, waiting for their return. For many people, it turned into one of the most unforgettable moments ever witnessed. After Apollo 11, worldwide attention quickly reached Neil Armstrong, though fame never appeared comfortable for him. Rather than chasing public attention, he preferred a quieter life focused on education, aviation, and family. He later worked as a teacher and also took part in investigations linked to aviation incidents, sharing knowledge gained through years of flight experience. Though millions viewed him as a hero, Neil often carried humility, rarely placing himself above others or talking proudly about what he had done. As many years passed, Neil Armstrong continued to carry deep admiration from people across the world. Unlike many public figures, he lived a quiet life and rarely entered public attention. Even through worldwide recognition, he remained deeply private, focusing more on family and meaningful work than public fame. To many people, Neil represented calm leadership, courage, and determination, showing that greatness does not always arrive with loud attention or public praise. Many years have passed since Neil Armstrong left the world in 2012, though his name still carries huge meaning for millions of people. His journey from a quiet boy in Ohio to the human who placed humanity onto the moon remains one of the most unforgettable stories in history. Schools, museums, and future generations continue learning about his life, while many people still look toward Apollo 11 as proof of what determination and human effort can achieve. Neil Armstrong may no longer be here, though his memory continues to live on across generations. Neil Armstrong entered history through one unforgettable moment, though his story carried far more than a walk upon the moon. From a quiet childhood in Ohio to dangerous military flights, difficult testing missions, and finally Apollo 11, his life carried patience, discipline, and calm thinking under huge pressure. Even after worldwide fame reached him, Neil never chased attention and instead chose a quieter path focused on learning, family, and aviation. To many people, his story remains a reminder that major moments in history often come from quiet people carrying deep focus and determination. One important question still comes to mind. If you had the chance to leave Earth and walk upon the moon, would you take the risk, or would fear hold you back? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoy real astronaut stories, lunar mysteries, survival stories, and unforgettable moments from the universe, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real documentary stories.